Somewhere deep inside your abdomen sits a stubborn fat reserve your body simply refuses to let go of very easily. You've walked for weeks, maybe months, expecting your belly to shrink, yet nothing seems to change at all. Here's the truth almost nobody tells you clearly. Walking does eventually burn visceral fat, but timing matters more than effort. There is an exact biological moment when your body finally decides to unlock that hidden fat reserve for energy use. Most people quit walking minutes before that moment arrives, completely unaware they were seconds away from real results. Visceral fat isn't lazy fat sitting quietly. It behaves like an active organ, constantly sending signals throughout your entire body. It talks to your liver, your pancreas, your blood vessels, and even your immune system every single day. That's exactly why some slim-looking people still carry serious hidden health risks nobody can see. Visceral fat releases inflammatory molecules called cytokines that quietly disrupt your metabolism long before symptoms ever appear. Over time, this raises blood sugar, forces your pancreas into overdrive, and slowly damages insulin sensitivity throughout your body. This chain reaction is one major reason people develop diabetes without ever appearing overweight to others. Visceral fat also speaks directly to your liver through a blood vessel called the portal vein. That connection forces your liver to store excess fat, produce more glucose, and reshape your entire metabolism silently. This is why visceral fat links closely to fatty liver, high cholesterol, and heart disease risk. Your body doesn't easily release visceral fat because evolution designed it as a protected emergency energy reserve. That's precisely why intense workouts often fail to shrink belly fat despite tremendous effort and daily sweat. High-intensity training raises cortisol, your stress hormone, which actually tells your body to protect fat, not release it. The harder you push your body, the more desperately it clings to visceral fat reserves. To finally access this fat, your body needs stable oxygen, balanced hormones, and a genuinely calm nervous system. This is exactly where something as simple as walking quietly reveals its hidden metabolic power. Walking absolutely can burn visceral fat, but never instantly within the first few rushed minutes. This misunderstanding causes countless people to feel discouraged and abandon walking long before results even begin. Your body doesn't respond to desire, it responds strictly to a precise internal energy sequence. In the very first seconds, your muscles use stored ATP, an emergency energy source, like a flashlight. This system exists purely to start movement, and it disappears again almost as quickly as it came. Soon after, your body shifts into glycolysis, burning blood sugar and stored glycogen for quick, continuous energy. This is the phase most people recognize: faster heartbeats, quicker breathing, and that familiar workout sensation beginning. At this exact stage, fat, especially visceral fat, still plays absolutely no role in your energy production. Your nervous system always prioritizes the fastest, safest fuel source available in that specific moment. Fat oxidation is slower, more complex, and heavily dependent on steady oxygen delivery throughout your body. If your breathing feels irregular or your stress remains elevated, fat burning simply never receives clearance. This is exactly why early walking minutes rarely create any noticeable metabolic transformation, even when effort feels real. Many people walk for 10 minutes, feel little sweat, and mistakenly conclude that walking simply isn't working. In reality, this early phase resembles starting a massive factory that needs time before reaching full production. Visceral fat only becomes available once your body senses complete internal stability and genuine physiological safety.
Walking isn't really about instant fat burning. It's about creating internal conditions that allow burning later. And that critical metabolic shift, the one everybody's been waiting for, finally begins taking shape next. After those uneventful early minutes, your body quietly approaches a moment almost nobody consciously notices happening. There's no alarm, no sudden burst of energy, nothing dramatic signaling this important internal transition. Yet biologically speaking, this exact moment represents the true turning point inside your entire body. Scientists call this the fat oxidation threshold. sometimes known simply as the metabolic crossover point. As your pace stabilizes and breathing becomes rhythmic, your nervous system finally begins registering complete safety. At this precise moment, your body crosses an invisible line where fuel preference shifts from glucose to fat. Inside your cells, mitochondria begin pulling fatty acids into their pathways for steady energy production. Fat stops being a backup option and instantly becomes an active, reliable fuel source instead. This transition eventually opens access to visceral fat too, but only after fat oxidation fully engages first. Interestingly, many people notice walking suddenly feels easier here, not because effort decreased, but efficiency improved. Fat provides slower, steadier energy, allowing continuous movement without constantly triggering your nervous system into alertness. Because this shift feels so quiet, many people accidentally stop walking right before truly reaching it. They end their walk exactly when their body finally becomes ready for genuine, targeted fat burning. Understanding this invisible threshold completely transforms how you should approach every single walking session moving forward. Walking isn't really about counting steps or minutes, it's about guiding your body into a state. Once you cross this metabolic threshold, every additional minute becomes meaningful, targeted, intentional fat utilization instead. If that internal shift feels invisible, heart rate becomes your most reliable external signal for tracking progress. You don't need expensive gadgets or complicated calculations to understand exactly what's happening inside you. 50 to 70% of your maximum heart rate represents the ideal zone for fat oxidation. In this specific range, energy demand stays high enough to activate deeper metabolic pathways without triggering panic. This is precisely the sweet spot where visceral fat finally becomes accessible for genuine energy production. When heart rate stays too low, your metabolic signal remains weak and fat oxidation stays minimal throughout. When heart rate climbs too high, cortisol rises sharply, forcing your body back toward rapid glucose burning. In that stressed state, visceral fat remains completely protected, locked away regardless of how hard you push. The real secret lies in moderation, allowing your heart rate to rise gradually before naturally stabilizing there. When this happens, your body receives a clear message that conditions are finally safe and stable. You don't actually need a heart rate monitor to recognize when you've reached this ideal zone. Your breathing deepens yet stays controlled, allowing comfortable conversation without gasping or struggling for air. Your steps settle into a steady, natural rhythm that feels smoother than the initial walking minutes. Most notably, you experience what feels like finding your flow, movement no longer feeling forced. This flow state reflects your nervous system shifting from constant vigilance into calm, coordinated physical control. Stress signals decrease, oxygen delivery improves dramatically, and mitochondrial efficiency rises throughout your entire body. Many people mistakenly accelerate too quickly, assuming higher heart rate automatically means greater visceral fat burning happening. In reality, allowing your heart rate to rise progressively enables proper, sustainable metabolic adaptation over time. Understanding heart rate completely reframes how you think about walking, shifting focus from speed toward internal state. Not every fat cell in your body receives equal treatment or equal protection from your nervous system. Subcutaneous fat sits closer to your skin, has better blood flow, and mobilizes relatively easily. Visceral fat, however, surrounds vital organs like your liver, intestines, and kidneys, demanding special protective conditions. The first condition your body requires is consistently low, stable cortisol levels throughout your entire walk. When cortisol rises, your body interprets that as danger, protecting visceral fat instead of releasing it. This explains why overly intense, stressful workouts often fail to reduce visceral fat as expected. The second condition involves adequate, continuous oxygen delivery, since fat oxidation depends heavily on proper breathing. Shallow, irregular breathing significantly delays this entire fat-burning process, no matter how long you walk. The third crucial condition is stable mitochondrial function, meaning your cellular energy factories must remain fully prepared. Mitochondria require time, rhythm, and supportive hormones to increase their fat-burning capacity gradually over sessions. This explains exactly why walking proves so remarkably effective for targeted, stubborn, protected visceral fat reserves. Walking doesn't shock your nervous system, it gently guides your body toward genuine biological safety instead. In this calm state, oxygen delivery improves, heart rate stabilizes, and mitochondria finally operate with true efficiency. Walking doesn't force your body to burn fat, it simply creates conditions where burning feels completely safe. Once we understand these specific conditions, we arrive at something crucial called the steady-state metabolic window. This is the exact phase where walking transforms from simple movement into targeted, highly effective fat burning. This window never opens immediately. It only emerges after your body moves past initial energy systems completely. Once heart rate stabilizes and breathing becomes rhythmic, oxygen delivery and fat oxidation finally enter true balance. In this state, visceral fat burning becomes remarkably efficient, not because effort increases, but because everything aligns. This explains a surprising truth. A 20-minute walk differs enormously from a 40-minute walk. The difference isn't calories burned, it's time spent inside this powerful steady-state metabolic window. For most people, the first 10 or 15 minutes represent preparation, not actual visceral fat burning. Real metabolic value typically lives in the second half of your walk, once this window opens. This explains why short, consistent walks sometimes produce frustratingly slow results, despite genuine daily effort. Meanwhile, longer walks create noticeable changes without requiring any additional intensity or exhausting physical effort whatsoever. Visceral fat doesn't respond well to urgency, it responds specifically and reliably to prolonged internal stability. This also explains a common experience. Walking often feels easier the longer your session actually continues. Once fat becomes your primary fuel source, your body stops relying on constant nervous system stimulation entirely. Instead of asking how many minutes are enough, ask how you can enter this window sooner. Walking success isn't only about whether you move, it's fundamentally about exactly how you move. Three seemingly small factors, posture, pace, and breathing, determine whether fat burning truly begins happening. When you walk upright with relaxed shoulders, your diaphragm gains room to fully descend properly. This allows your lungs to expand completely, dramatically improving oxygen delivery throughout your entire bloodstream.
Slouching restricts diaphragmatic movement, causes shallow breathing, and quietly delays fat metabolism, even during active movement. Walking faster doesn't automatically create better results, since excessive pace spikes heart rate and triggers glucose burning. In that rushed state, effort feels higher, yet visceral fat remains completely protected and inaccessible throughout. Walking too slowly, meanwhile, fails to provide enough stimulus to properly open your metabolic window at all. Effective walking happens at a moderate, sustainable rhythm where heart rate stabilizes without requiring constant physical adjustment. The most underestimated factor of all remains breathing, which directly signals safety or danger to your nervous system. Shallow, rapid breathing signals ongoing alertness, keeping cortisol elevated and severely limiting your fat oxidation capacity. Deep, slow, rhythmic breathing sends a completely different message, clearly signaling genuine safety throughout your entire body. When posture, pace, and breathing finally align together, you create nearly ideal biological conditions for consistent fat burning. Heart rate stabilizes, oxygen availability increases, stress hormones decrease, and beta oxidation continues completely uninterrupted afterward. Walking transforms from simple physical effort into something resembling smooth, sustainable metabolic flow throughout your entire session. Many people describe finding their rhythm here, steps feeling lighter and breathing syncing naturally with movement.
Instead of pushing speed relentlessly, adjust your posture, listen carefully to your breath, and seek genuine stability. One of the most powerful yet underestimated factors in this entire process remains simple daily consistency over time. Walking doesn't only create effects within single sessions, it gradually reprograms how your body responds to movement. With regular walking, your body stops perceiving movement as stressful and instead begins preparing for it beforehand. Consistent walking increases both the number and efficiency of your mitochondria, making fat burning progressively easier. As mitochondrial density improves, your metabolic threshold arrives earlier during each subsequent walking session you complete. Regular walking also helps stabilize insulin and cortisol, removing the danger signals that protect visceral fat reserves. When these hormones remain balanced, every walk begins from a far more favorable biological starting point. Regular walking additionally improves capillary circulation, allowing oxygen and fatty acids to reach mitochondria more efficiently. This proves especially critical for visceral fat, which requires strong oxygen delivery to become truly accessible. The combined result feels remarkably simple. Each future walk enters fat-burning mode noticeably faster than before. Heart rate stabilizes quicker, breathing settles into rhythm sooner, and your metabolic window opens with far less delay. This represents the true advantage of consistency over perfection, since not every walk needs flawless technique. What actually matters is repetition, giving your body enough time to genuinely learn and adapt naturally. Once your body learns this pattern, it begins optimizing metabolic responses automatically without requiring constant conscious effort. Walking stops starting from zero each day, instead picking up exactly where yesterday's progress originally left off. If you've made it this far, you've likely realized walking was never actually a small, insignificant thing. It's not just steps, it's not merely a filler habit squeezed between busier daily activities. When understood correctly, walking becomes genuine communication with your body through patience, stability, and biological respect. Your body isn't working against you, it has been protecting you in the smartest possible way.
Visceral fat isn't stubborn or broken, it's simply waiting patiently for the right internal conditions to appear. Now you finally understand exactly what those specific conditions actually are and how to create them. You don't need to push harder or move faster than your body comfortably allows right now. You need to move consistently, breathe intentionally, and give your body genuine time to adapt properly. Every steady step, every deep breath, every repeated walk sends a powerful signal of safety inward. And quietly, biologically, consistently, your body finally responds exactly the way you've been hoping for all along.